Hi there, my name's Nick, and I'm here to tell you about my 75 Hard experience. To start off, I'd like to talk about what 75 Hard is, how it came about, and why I decided to do it. First of all, 75 Hard is a challenge. I won't even say a fitness challenge because it's not a fitness challenge. It is a mental toughness challenge, and a challenge in which challenges you to grow as an individual and as a human being and as a stronger member of your community. So there's 5 critical tasks, as you may or may not know. The first task is to take a progress photo every single day. The second task, drink a gallon of water every single day. The third, follow a diet, stick to it every single day. The fourth, read 10 pages out of self-development book every single day. And the last, 2 45-minute workouts. One of those workouts must be outside. The creator of 75 Hard is Andy Frisella. In his book, he details how he grew up being bullied and constantly self-conscious of his body image and the way he felt about himself. And I think a lot of people resonate with that. Personally, I do for sure. However, throughout his journey, he executed on certain things that I think eventually led to him understanding that in order to grow and get things done, you have to commit. You have to basically break down your day into tasks that you can do so that by the end of the day, you feel like you won the day. What Andy ultimately decided on was to create this challenge, and it became an internet sensation. And so he said, well, I'm gonna have, for 75 days, people do 5 critical tasks, and that's it. But these critical tasks are so simple, but at the same time, when you have to do them day after day after day, it wears on you in a good way. It sharpens you in a way that you probably wouldn't have ever imagined. For me, the origin is I got online and I looked up what 75 Hard was, and I saw a Cosmopolitan article that basically says, oh, this challenge is just terrible. I mean, there's no rules on the diet, there's no rules on what to do. Do not do this challenge. And I was like, I'm doing that shit. Let's fucking go. That's what got me into it and interested in it. And as I progressed through my journey, I will say that it has been a phenomenal transformation, and I was really happy with the results. One thing I wanted to do right away was get somewhere that I would constantly see the 5 critical tasks. And that was on my phone. I just opened a notepad and made a little checklist, and I'll show that right here. But those 5 critical tasks, every day I had to check them off, check them off, check them off. And that was what I decided worked for me. I'm sure some other people have other ideas. Originally I thought even maybe about just, putting a bunch of sticky notes somewhere or something like that, but I thought that might be a little bit cluttersome. So I stuck with just simple notepad on my phone. By the end of the day, every single one of those was checked off. So one thing I wanted to do during the challenge was a couple of additional things, and just add on, like, I know we weren't supposed to do a cold shower, but I ended up taking a cold shower anyway because I'd heard online that that was part of it. So I started, and then I just kept going. That was easy. That got easier every time. And actually, cold showers now feel great. So I'll just turn it on cold, jump in, and we're there. I wanted to make sure I was meal prepping every Sunday. I reduced the amount of procrastinating I do with YouTube. I started, taking photos. I actually bought a camera and started taking photos and learning more about photography. So there were just certain side goals I wanted to throw in there so that I kept busy also while completing the 5 tasks, but also built upon those. So, and I'll get a little bit into that. And one thing I forgot to add, no alcohol, no nicotine, no nothing. So that's also part of the challenge when you stick to the diet. And no cheat meals, right? So in order to complete the workouts, you want to make things interesting for yourself. So I started on May 1st, 2021, and I knew that at the end of the month I had a Murph challenge coming up. So I actually got online, I signed up for it, and I went to a CrossFit gym that was hosting it, and I knew that by the end of the month I had to be ready for that. So I started preparing for that. So that was a good way to get at least one workout, and especially outside. I mean, the Murph challenge, if you don't know, it's run 1 mile, do 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and 300 squats, and then run another mile. And you can do variations of that leading up to the challenge, and that's a good way to train for it. I actually was the first guy to finish, the first male to finish at that CrossFit gym, and I think I took that place by storm. And they were a little bit surprised that this guy, newbie, came in and just ran through it. But I felt really proud of myself because, I trained really hard for it. Now, to be fair, there's a lot of CrossFit exercises I cannot do. So props to anyone who can do some, overhead press squats. I mean, no thanks. I want to keep my arms. Another thing that I enlisted in was the Onnit kettlebell challenge. So that's 6 weeks of kettlebell exercises every day. That also includes yoga. And I wanted to make videos and do things like that, but I think what I ended up doing was kind of burning myself out a little bit. And I even kind of injured my arm doing some of the kettlebell exercises, especially the overhead press type exercises. So I had to back off a little bit, and eventually I just kind of dropped that challenge. So building one challenge up to another and like incorporating another challenge on it, that was kind of a bad idea on my part. Maybe other people would have no problem doing it. And it could just be the amount of weight. I used a 35 pound kettlebell, but that's neither here or there. I mean, it was great. It was a great way to get some exercise in for sure though. So kettlebell exercises in the first place are great. So that's definitely one thing I used in order to get one of the 2 exercises done. And then yoga. And then a lot of walking. And I gotta say, just 45 minutes of walking anywhere you can find around your house, especially if you can just walk outside your door and go for a 45-minute walk. That was one of the most relaxing experiences. And it wasn't that I was just texting on my phone. The phone never came with me. I just hit go on my watch, and there we go. So I never was just playing around. Every walk had intention, and I got a workout in. I mean, walking is one of the things that you can do that you'll actually burn fat if you're walking at a brisk pace. So I always feel like if you're ever low or fatigued, low on energy or feeling fatigued, it's not a bad thing to just say, okay, I'm just going to go for a walk. And there were plenty of walks I used a weight vest, but I don't think it's quite necessary. I think one of the best things you can do for yourself is go for a walk. And even after the challenge now, and I'll talk more about that in a sec, but I still go on walks, and it is one of the most relaxing experiences. For me, I stuck to a 50% carbs, 30% protein, 20% fat out of all of the calories I ate. So that's what they would consist of. And that was useful because there is a little bit of flexibility. Now, again, you're not going to be drinking alcohol, you're not going to be eating cheat meals, and to me, a cheat meal is something that is like cake or M&Ms or chocolate things. I mean, I didn't touch chocolate at all, or candy, nothing like that. I wouldn't even eat a peppermint because I knew, you know what, that's just something I don't need. The things I needed though were, again, meats, vegetables, fruits, and I mean, yogurt is a good one. Greek yogurt specifically because there's a lot of protein in it compared to other yogurts. And I think going through it, you start to realize what you're going to feel guilty about eating. So think about what you're about to eat and ask yourself, is this going, like, am I going to be guilty? Here's why. The whole point is to discipline yourself in a way that now you know if I'm going to feel guilty about this before I do it, I'm definitely going to feel even worse after I do it, but then you're going to self-justify. And when you self-justify, that is where you lose in this challenge. So you cannot self-justify. So don't even reach that point, right? Don't even think about doing something in which you're going to get to that point. So, and that works with everything else, but because the diet is so broad and generalized, it's really up to the user. But as a user, you should understand, okay, here's the things that I'm not going to eat, and I'm going to stick to that totally. And then here's the things that I'm going to eat, and those should be all healthy items. What I really tried to stick to was, can I go to the produce section and basically get all of the necessary supplies to make the meals, and then meats. And that's it. And if you don't want to eat meat, if you're vegetarian, that's great too. But it was a good way of thinking, okay, if I ever find myself in any other aisle, is this going to be a guilt type of food? And no, the only things I ate that would even come remotely close to being a cheat food were peanuts and popcorn, which I actually researched and looked into. Popcorn, that's not a cheat meal. I mean, to me, that was a way to increase the level of satiety, which means that now I feel full. And then peanuts too, you eat those, and then you feel full, and now I'm not hungry anymore. And so I'd say that what you're really trying to do is silence the hunger, but not in a bad way. You're trying to make sure that you're eating foods that are going to make you feel full and not be a detriment to you feeling hungry all the time. Because that's going to be sad if you have to spend 75 days just feeling hungry. No. What you want to do is slowly taper the amount of calories if you're really trying to lose weight or whatever it is. But you're going to lose weight no matter what, because you're working out 2 times a day. So that's my advice on the diet. So I started out with 75 hard, and I even researched that and asked, is that an acceptable book? And many people said yes, and I agree. I think if you're going to go into this, you might as well just read the book and get started. You can finish that book really quickly too, and I think that's kind of what Andy's purpose of the book was supposed to be anyway, is you get through the book, and then as you go through the challenge, it's nice to refer back to what he said, because in the back of the book, Andy details, what specific time intervals during the challenge you're going to have these basically revelations. And it was wild. It was wild to see. Okay, an example is when he talked about how you feel like a statue in a storm. Yeah, you just feel powerful, you feel strong, and you just don't give a shit about anyone else trying to slow you down. And anything that is starting to come your way, you know how to deal with it. You know how to create a headspace where you can think very clearly and make sure that the decisions you're going to make are going to be in your best interest, but also the people that you're making the decision with or for, it's in their best interest too. And it's tough. I've had some pretty tough decisions I've had to make recently, but man, this challenge certainly made me feel powerful and responsible. The second book I read was The Obstacle is the Way. I highly recommend that book. Great way to feel motivated about having things come into your life that challenge you. And boy, that was a good second book to read, because it really put things into perspective on what I was going to end up encountering. One thing I want to get better at, so I read this book, is The Essentials of Investing. And that for me was an introductory course on investing. And I actually think I'm going to go back and reread it, because there's a lot of things I don't understand about investing, in particular the stock market. But I think those skills really work no matter what it applies to. And that includes your time. What you invest your time in should ultimately, you should be able to reap rewards, right? And that's what this challenge did. I am reaping some serious rewards right now. And it has been life is just ripping. So it's just off. The fourth book I read was Atomic Habits. And that book was great. I mean, talk about a way to really get you to think about how you proceed through a day, and what you can do during your day to really get the maximum benefit from all of the things that you want to do, all of the tasks that you want to create and habits that you want to form. So personally, I'm still working on that, and I'm not perfect, and I still procrastinate. I still screw up on things, and I still make poor choices sometimes. But overall, I'd like to think that now I start to think in terms of, okay, well, if I start investing time here, what's that going to lead later down the road? And that's in particular with bad habits. And so you have to remind yourself, okay, this can turn into a bad habit, and that bad habit can turn into a lifetime of just bad decisions. So that was a great book to read too. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People was a great book, in which really helped me navigate some interesting introspection. So for me, what I thought about during this book was, okay, well, what can I do in order to create win-win situations? And I mean, the book details the exercises you should do in order to find that. And win-win situations are really valuable for many, many, many reasons. And every interaction you have, if you go into that with that mindset and say, how can I get a win-win situation out of this interaction, you can really start getting people's attention and keeping it in a positive way, not in a negative, narcissistic way. You know, it's about how can everybody win here? How can everybody walk away feeling good? And people will want to be around you when you do that. And really, what's great about reading 75 Hard first, and then reading all of these other different types of books, and especially other books people recommend, is that everything starts clicking, and your brain is thinking about all of these things and how to be successful and develop yourself. And it is just fascinating how your mind works and starts to piece together all these things. And throughout your day, you're having interactions with people, and you're going, oh man, I was just reading about this, and now I can apply it here, and now I can apply these here. And it just feels so good, and your brain just lights up with whatever chemicals do that inside your brain. But it is so rewarding, and it feels great. And so going through this journey and having those books, I realize why Andy wants people to do that. It's because people don't read, and when you read, you stagnate, because you're not retaining and pulling in new information. And that information, it really just downloads into your genetics. It's crazy how this works. But once you have it into your mind and body, and you embody it yourself, I mean, you just become a machine. So I think that the books and the reading was one of the best tasks you could complete for 75 days straight. And I'm gonna keep reading. I've been a little bit lenient about it, but I'm gonna get back on it and just keep reading every day. So I've pretty much covered everything I could really kind of think of in terms of how to prepare for the 75 hard. And there's a lot of things you just can't prepare for. But some of the things that I initially noticed was that I stopped watching TV. I used to watch it in the mornings when I would make breakfast and stuff, but I couldn't bring myself to do it anymore. And it feels so good. I'll still listen to podcasts, and I'll even watch podcasts on YouTube, and that's kind of a guilty pleasure, but I just can't bring myself to watch consumer TV. It is just such garbage, and I can't believe the things they feed to people. And now when I see it, if I go to someone's house, I'm like, what is this ad? These ads that they show people, they make people look so dumb, and they make people look so weak. And I just can't believe that people eat this stuff up. I mean, so that was one thing I noticed, which is, yeah, okay, so now I'm not giving a shit about TV. Now I don't want to watch TV because I just don't think that it's even worth my time. And so that led to a couple different things. So as I started going through it, I started doing these I was exercising, reading, and I started kind of distancing myself from people because I knew that, they weren't really going to understand what I was doing and why I was doing it. Even though they'd heard, one of my other friends, she'd heard about 75 hard and did it herself. She did a modified version, which again, there really is no modified version. But props to anyone who does anything like this. Even short of some of the tasks, that's great and amazing. But again, to get the full sensation, you gotta do everything perfect. And I'll get to that in a second. But I stopped replying to people, and I stopped reaching out to people because I've been a social person growing up, and I always looked for friends and looked to reach out to people and try to set up meetings and go do fun things with them. But I just recently I wanted to stop that because I know a lot of my friends, and myself included, we've done all the partying, we've spent weekends just getting drunk and doing all that stuff, but I knew that this was going to mean something different to me, and I had no idea what it was going to do. But on the weekends, now that I was completing these 5 tasks, I had things to do on the weekend, and I wasn't going to spend time getting drunk or partying or whatever and staying up late and feeling like shit the next day. And then come Monday, I'm not prepared for anything, and I'm not getting anything done. So I realized that in order to invite good people into your life, you can really kind of identify who wants to stick around, because when you stop reaching out, people reach out to you, and some of them will be reaching out for their own personal gain, for whatever it is, but some people will genuinely reach out, and they'll see what you're doing, and they'll see that you're working on yourself, and there's something just internally that people know. I don't know what it is. It's almost like it's on your face. They see there's something about this person. This guy has done something with himself, and I don't know what it is, but I like it. And they seem like they're responsible. They seem like they're accountable. They seem like they're trustworthy. I don't know where this comes from, but there's something on your face and your aura. You project it because you've held yourself accountable, not just for 75 days now, and I'll get to this point too, but now it's something bigger than you. And that's what I really was hoping would come from this, and it really did. So another thing that started happening was I started getting into bed. It was the summer when I was doing this, so I started May 1st, ended July 14th, so it's the summer. I live in Colorado, and in the mornings the sun comes up really early. So I was getting out of bed at like 5:30, going to the gym, and then I would do a workout in the gym, and then I would do another workout, either the kettlebell workout, a walk, a run, a bike, something in the afternoon, like lunchtime, or else later in the day. Maybe I'll go climbing in the indoor climbing gym, and that was strict climbing. That wasn't just like socializing climbing. So I did run into a really bad off day. I had actually just gotten the second COVID vaccine, and then I went on a really intense bike ride, and I got so dehydrated because I didn't plan out my electrolytes very well. And boy, the next day I woke up and I just felt like pure garbage. And so I learned really quickly that you have to be ready to take care of yourself, and you have to know your limits a little bit. And obviously you're pushing your limits, but you want to take care of yourself so that you can still push your limits every day. So there's gonna be days where you wake up and you feel like garbage. You feel like garbage, and you don't want to do it. You don't want to do this stuff. You're like, what even is the point of this? And I questioned myself. I'd started questioning myself, like, what's the point? Why am I doing this? This is dumb. Let's just stop. Let's go have a beer with the friends. No, you can't. You've already gotten, once you get 10 days in, you should already be thinking, I'm gonna fucking finish this. 10 days is a lot of time to do 5 things every day for 10 days even. Shit, for even 5 days, I would say you're doing pretty good. So if you can get 10 days in, you can get 20 in. If you can get 20 in, you can get 30 in. And if you can get 30 in, you can get to 60. And then once you get to 60, you're on the home stretch, and there should be no stopping you. And I know things come up in people's lives, but I think in order for you to really realize this, you have to be able to put other things aside. I don't care how important it is. You have to understand that if you want to get through this, you have to prioritize you first and your ability to complete these 5 critical tasks. That leads me to talk about setting up a system. So one thing you want to do is set up a system where you have a time of day for your workouts. You're going to eat more or less if you're feeling fatigued, so you need to eat a little bit more or a little bit less if you're going to try to cut down the weight. Times when you're going to drink the water, because you're definitely going to find yourself at night chugging a bunch of water or something. So make sure you plan those out accordingly. You know, I would wake up first thing, and I still do this. This is really good. You wake up, I would down a liter of water, and my body instantly felt great. So that was a good idea. So then you know, mid morning another liter, mid afternoon another liter, and then by like 6 p.m. I'll finish that last liter. I did notice that my stool was not solid. Eventually, because I drank 4 liters. I didn't drink just a gallon, so I was drinking 4 liters every day. So maybe that was a little too much. If I was to do this again, I would do exactly a gallon. But I just said, screw it, I'm gonna do it. And I mean, I was pissing just clear every day, the whole time. But I never felt any better in my life. I mean, it was just amazing. And the last thing I would say is with the workouts, make sure you change the intensity or type of workout, because you don't want to get workout fatigue, because it's not fun. It stops being fun, and you want the workouts to be fun. I mean, I started having some serious revelations during the workouts, and I love doing the workouts. I loved running, I loved walking. The kettlebell workouts were amazing, and then even at the gym in the morning when I was strength training, I just started feeling amazing, and I was having these awesome revelations. So that was great. When you do this challenge, make sure you start to write your thoughts down, and don't be afraid to admit whatever it is you want to admit. I mean, be real honest with yourself. Get to the point where you're emotional. I mean, you're just like raw emotion on a page. And I say that because when you just write it out and then you start looking back on it, your mind starts to piece together what you were feeling, why you were feeling that way, and you start to recognize patterns that you may have not before, and your mind is going to be probably the clearest it's ever been during this time. And for me, it really led to some serious revelations about who I am, what I represent, and what my purpose in life is. And I'm just so grateful that I could even execute on something like this, because it's phenomenal. I mean, I'm just so happy with who I am. I really am. I mean, that's why I'm getting emotional right now. I want more people to do this because there's a lot of talk about the state of America, but we should not let all of this infighting and people feeling like they have to be the victim in order to gain an upper hand and letting that be the norm. I'm fucking tired of it. I'm fucking sick of it. I can't stand when people want to talk about how they feel like they're not getting something in life when everything in life is right at your disposal. It is right in front of you. And the one thing that you're not doing are all of the things you should be doing instead of complaining about whatever the fuck it is you're complaining about. I don't even think Andy realized what he's really doing with this, in the sense of how bigger this is than just him and just people in general. To me, this is something that is a jumping off platform. I mean, this isn't just your, I did a little diet and I worked out a little bit and now I can just fuck off. No, this should be your wake up call. This should be you understanding now what you're capable of and who you're capable of becoming. And once you understand those things, there should be no doubt in your mind about what you need to do in order to change the world. And that's the type of person we need now. And we need it now more than ever. We need some serious motherfuckers who are down to fucking just get shit done. And if anyone gets in the fucking way, you kindly ask them to step aside. And if they don't step aside, you fucking remove them from the situation somehow. Or you remove yourself from the situation. And you continue on. Because that is the scary thing for me, is that there were just so many people in my life I looked at, and they're capable of being amazing people, and they're capable of doing amazing things, but they just don't see the urgency. Life is so short, and it can be drastically reduced in terms of the amount of time that you have left on this planet. And we are in a sorry state right now, but we still need to keep moving forward. So what I realized after doing this is that the human mind and body, when paired with excellent input and consistent input, you become a machine. And you start to let everything turn and work as a well-oiled machine. And every day you wake up and it is a gift. It is no longer, I feel sad about myself. I feel sad about these things. I don't feel sad about anything anymore. All I know now when I wake up is I feel amazing about who I am, and I'm going to help the world, and I'm going to change it. So I think that's why, again, I was talking about this earlier. I said I'd bring it up now, but I think people misconstrue what this challenge really represents. And it represents what people who are very successful already know. This is their secret. And if you want to pay attention and get it done, you'll do it. and you'll do it exactly how it needs to be done. And that means performing the 5 tasks every single day. But it's more than just the 5 tasks. What you gotta realize is that getting something done every single day, getting these things done every single day, what does that represent? It represents you ensuring the accountability is there. Boom, I'm getting this done. That you're being responsible. Boom, I actually planned all these things out. And then boom, I'm seeing the results. And that seeing the results is one piece that I think people may overlook. Because yes, you make a physical transformation, but it's also up here. Your brain makes the physical transformation too. And you can't overlook that, because what's really happened to you now is you're becoming who you need to be. Every single person embodies the potential to basically become exactly what they need to be. I know that sounds vague and weird, but really it's true. Every single person. You're not a person if you're just sitting in front of a television. What are you doing? You're not doing anything. You're just sitting there watching TV. You gotta get up and move your body. You have to do all of the things that the human body was capable of doing, has been capable of doing for eons. And if you don't, you're not a human anymore. You're just a consuming thing. You're literally just consuming stuff. You gotta turn into exactly what you need to be so that you can produce. You can produce your creativeness, whatever that is, whatever it comes out as. I mean, you could literally be the best can stacker and people will still look at you and go, damn, that guy's really good at fucking stacking cans. But who cares what you ultimately become? If that's what you want to do with your creative ability, that's amazing. And people will see it. Life is pictures, right? You're seeing pictures through your mind. You're using your eyes and your mind is interpreting those. And when you see pictures and you see things that inspire you, it should also inspire you to create. It shouldn't just inspire you to just sit there and go, oh, hey, that's cool. You should want to create something. And that's what your mind is. It's this abstract thing that if you use it as a workshop and you are inspired by people, you can too also create things, and you'll do it on a subconscious level, and then you'll rise up and you'll just start doing it. And that's the other amazing thing, is that you literally start to see other people who are doing the same thing, and then you go, oh, that person's really cool. That person is really cool too. They're all just doing their own thing on a really high level. And that is amazing that we have the capability of discerning that once you get to that level. So it's just like when you climb a mountain, what do you see? You see other mountains, right? So that's kind of my spiel on what this challenge really does to you. I mean, I really do feel like a statue in a storm. And every day, anything that comes my way, I'm ready. And I embrace it. I am excited when things go wrong, because it's like I have the tools. I have my handy toolkit right here, and it's really right here. And then your body's ready to go too. Nothing stops me anymore. I'm ready to go in every single instance. I'll kind of wind down here. The one thing I guess people are probably going to ask or wonder, and maybe not, I don't know. Maybe you don't even give a shit. Maybe you're not even going to watch the whole thing. But, you know, what am I doing now in terms of the tasks? Well, I haven't started phase 1 yet, which I'm planning on doing soon. But I do still work out twice a day during the week. The weekends, I've been kind of taking a little bit more of a break. I did notice my body had taken a significant toll because of the intensity levels I used. So I would say that it's totally doable though to just do it the rest of your life. 2 workouts a day, whatever they are, as long as they're within your pace of whatever you can handle, that's great. And it feels awesome. I mean, I just wake up feeling phenomenal. I just feel great. So I still need to pick up the books a lot more, and I'm going to do that. And I'm really starting to get set on pretty much building my own empire. So I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I've already set in motion in my subconscious what I need to do and the desires I need to have in order to get that into this realm. So I probably sound like a crazy person, but all I can say is that throughout my time doing 75 Hard, I've seen nothing but success now, because I did it right too. Don't think that I was already a fit guy. Don't think that had anything to do with this. Even fit people or people who had already worked out, they're going to struggle with this. I struggled with it. It was hard. This sucks. It's not that it sucks, I guess, but it gets to just wear on you. But what you realize is, oh my God, okay, I get it now. In order to be the successful person I want to be, I have to lay it out. I have to lay it out and do these things every day. So by no means am I perfect either. I know I'm flawed in many ways, and I still have a lot of growing to do. But that's the thing, is now I'm excited to do that growing. And I feel like I really love who I am now, and I can sit by myself in a room and just be myself and just enjoy whatever thoughts come to my mind, because those are good thoughts that I'm having, whatever they are. It doesn't even matter. But I've definitely had alcohol. I actually went to Las Vegas with a friend, and we had a blast. But I felt that was a reward, and that's where I was going with that too. Is I saw nothing but accomplishments. So I actually graduated from graduate school. I got my master's in computer science finally finished it back in May, which was tough. It was really tough, but that worked out. Someone reached out at my work, and I'm actually in a new role. And unfortunately, my mom is she's not doing too well. She was told that she has 3 to 5 years left to live. She has a debilitating disease called progressive supranuclear palsy, and it's not a very well-known disease. But with that news, I mean, it's been tough. It's been really tough, but I know that being strong is what I need to do right now, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to just spend time with her and try to get the family together, and we'll all spend time with her and show her that we're here to support her through this time, and we're here to support each other too. And that was another aspect that this challenge created for me, was understanding the value of a support system. And I'm gonna try not to get choked up. Woo! All right. It's important. It's important to have family and friends who are there. And I'm talking like, yo, my tire just blew out. Can you get here? I'm at work, but I'm on the way. Like, that's the kind of support that you want in your life. Who cares about those friends who you think are cool, or they want to think that they're cool, and maybe they even look really cool. They got tattoos, or they have nice luxury items. Maybe they have a boat or something like that. Whatever. Those people, some of them are very successful, and they deserve all of that. But be careful trying to keep up with that. It's not worth it. The most important people in your life right now are going to be people who will drop anything to come and help you with whatever it is you need help with. So don't ever rule those people out, because throughout this challenge, you will figure out who those people are. So yeah, I would say that the success, when done correctly, you have to stick to the plan, and do not cut corners. Do not cut corners. It's easy to do. It's really easy to do, and then it's easy to justify, and then you just fall. You gotta restart. I mean, you might as well just not even do it. If you're gonna cut corners somewhere, you cannot cut corners. You have to tell yourself every day, I'm going to get these 5 tasks done. I'm going to get them done the best of my ability, And by the end of the day, if you don't feel guilty about anything that you've done, and you have to be brutally honest with yourself, do I feel guilty about anything? No, you shouldn't. And then you can go to sleep and you can wake up and you can do it again. Because if you can do it for one day, you can do it for 2, you can do it for 3, etc. So, but the dividends that this will pay for your life, it is just insane. I mean, the universe will bring you good tidings, and you must be willing to receive them with gratefulness and just go, I don't know what this place is, but thank you, thank you, thank you. It is a phenomenal place, this universe, and if I die anytime soon or after this, just know that I died a happy person, because, I mean, again, this challenge, I know it was created by one individual, and they had a certain thing in mind, but if you do these things right, I mean, you don't even need to do the challenge. If you just did 75 things, or 75 days of, certain tasks that you want to lay out for yourself too, I have a feeling you would go through a similar process, because really what it does is it distracts you from all of the other distractions, and it causes you to really dive into yourself. And it's just doing the same thing every single day that I think is one of the most important things of understanding, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And it's basically a Rubik's Cube, and you're just slowly solving it, and then finally you solve it. I would say I solved it during the 75 days. I solved it, and then I see, oh wow, this is like, I feel like euphoric all the time. I wake up and I'll drink my water, and then my body, it just feels amazing, and I'm ready to go, and I just feel euphoric. And then anytime I'm around someone, I feel happy for them. I'm excited to be around them because I chose to be around them, and I don't hang out with people that I never really felt really good about in the first place. I stopped hanging out with them, and I don't invite them to places. I don't go to places when I know that they're going to be invited. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I really do think that your energy, if you feed off of other people, becomes what those people are. And if you're willing to give out really good positive energy, I don't think it's fair for you to hang out with people who are going to only feed you negativity and then pull positive energy from you. So I know this is a long rant, but I'm just really stoked about it, because if I hadn't done this, I'm not sure I would have really clicked on all the things that I've just clicked on. And it's very possible I fall out of this entire thing, and who knows where I could end up in even just a month. I really hope that doesn't happen, but again, you have to wake up every day, be grateful, and then commit to your tasks, get it done, and then let the Rubik's Cube solve itself. So thank you for listening. It's been a pleasure. I hope that this has informed you in some way, shape, or form, and feel free to ask any questions. I can always, I can always enable access to the spreadsheet I use for tracking my workouts or whatever, or give advice on, what sort of foods were good. But the most important thing that I want you to leave here with is that it's in your hands. Don't think for 1 second that you have to listen to me. I'm just sharing my story because I think that it's important to share your story, and I hope that you share yours too. And please let me know if you go through this and you have a similar experience, because I think that more people need to see this, and I would love to see other people see my story and then get inspired and then do that too, because that to me is now one of the most rewarding feelings I have ever experienced. So it's in your hands, and you're totally capable of doing it. You really are. You don't compare yourself to someone else who's done this, or someone else that you see who is, an all-star athlete or whatever. You cannot compare yourself to that, because what you don't see are all the days that they spent working on themselves, or they spent doing something. And some people just have an upper leg, or a leg up on upper leg. They have a leg up on on life somehow. You know, maybe it's genetics, maybe it's money, whatever the case is. But the beautiful thing that you'll see is when you do it yourself and you make the decisions and you pick what exercises you're going to do and you commit to the tasks. When you see yourself do that, that is going to be your best reward. You're going to feel so great. And by the end of the 75 days, you're not going to want to stop. You're going to want to keep going. If you did it properly, you're going to want to keep going. You really will. So I bid you good luck, and thank you for listening again. I hope you have a great day. Namaste.